Good morning. My name is Anthony Lane. I am the founder and CEO of Connecting Lane. And today I wanted to talk to you about something called Gremlins. As I was coming out of my morning meditation, I started thinking about when I was a kid in Chicago. And I used to put on so many different layers. And that got me to thinking about all those little things that are on side of me. Basically, are gremlins. And they're holding me back. Let me explain. Self-sabotage is one of the gremlins that I am referring to. They often sow seeds of self-doubt. They're making us question our own abilities and our own worth. We shouldn't have to do that, but we do. And I do. Trying to be perfect. They give us unrealistic standards, leading to consistent dissatisfaction with ourselves and our achievements. Another one is fear. The fear of the gremlins, they thrive on instilling fear, and they amplify perceived threats and risks to deter us from taking action. Have you felt like that before? I know I have. Then we compare ourselves to each other. They fuel the tendency of comparing ourselves to unfavorable to others, fostering a feeling of inadequacy. We look at social media, we look at the newspaper, we look at news, we look at people out in public, then we compare ourselves to them. Then we compare ourselves. The next one is being negative. These gremlins, they highlight the negative aspect of any given situation. They overshadow any positive elements, any positive momentum that we have going for ourselves. If that is not good enough, then comes the overwhelm. It contributes to a feeling of overwhelmment by constantly bombarding us with self-critical thoughts and worries, things that we don't need to worry about. And if that wasn't good enough, here comes the procrastination. And then we stop doing things. The gremlin of procrastination, it rationalizes procrastination. I can put it off. It convinces us to delay tasks because of the fear of failure or being inadequate. Procrastination doesn't work. Then here comes the self-sabotage. When we start going in a certain direction, this risk is perceived as a discomfort, so it stops us. Then we have that inner critic that happens inside of here and inside of here. These gremlins engage in a relentless inner criticism. It undermines our self-esteem and our self-confidence. Then we limit ourselves by our own beliefs. They reinforce beliefs about ourselves, our capabilities, our constraints, our potential for growth. These things we put onto ourselves. When I lived in Chicago, born and raised, in the 70s, before I can go outside, my mom tell us to dress warm. There was one particular day I didn't dress warm. I went outside, had snowball fight, had on wrong shoes, a jacket, no gloves, no hat. Went out there playing, having a great time, had a ball. At the risk, my fingers turned blue. I was extremely cold, got sick, got in trouble. And so when I started going outside from there on out, I had on some long johns. Then I had on some sweatpants. Then I put on blue jeans. Then I had on probably a snowsuit. And then that was just the bottom layer. And then the top layer, I put on a t-shirt, a long john shirt, and then maybe 2 or 3 other shirts, a jacket, and then a coat. And then for my head, I'll put on a hat, some earmuffs, a scarf. And then for my feet, and then I put on maybe 2 or 3 pair of socks, some boots. Then I stuff some more insulation inside of the boots to keep me warm. Then for gloves, well, I just put on 1 pair of gloves because I still need to make that perfect snowball. All of that translates to who I am today, positive or negative. You look at it how you want to look at it. All of those things that I was putting on to protect myself are called gremlins. My self-esteem, my limiting beliefs, my procrastination, my self-doubt, and anything else that you can add to that. And in another video, I'm just going to go through some examples of what gremlins, how they actually show up in our lives. You can probably have a great example of it right now for yourself, just based off of what I said already. But because I had on all of those things, and I took on all of those gremlins on the inside of me to protect me from society, from friends, from family, from colleagues, and looking at the world, looking at the news, looking at the newspaper, looking at the magazines, looking at social media, looking at others when I go out in public, looking at models, looking at actors. Everyone has this perfect life, and here I am thinking that I'm not doing good. Thinking that I'm not doing good at all. And you're probably having the same self-doubt about yourself. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and I just kept saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just lost, and I'm just confused. And after I finished talking, I said to myself, Anthony, you went through school. They put you in special education because they didn't know what to do with you in the first grade. They kept you in special education until you graduated from high school. Then you put yourself, Anthony, in college with no special provisions at all. But the gremlin of you're not a good test taker held me back from succeeding. And it got on me hard. So I stopped college. I joined the military. It took me 3 times to pass the ASVAB. I got over that hurdle. But to be promoted in the Navy, I had to take tests. And it was a 3-hour test, 150 questions. Questions that I had to know for my particular job, administration. I had to know how many characters could fit in a block. And guess what? That one document happened to be over 100 parts. It's the DD-214. I had to know how many characters can fit in each block on that test. Well, guess what? I succeeded all the way up to the rank of chief. I was like, that's not true. I am smart enough. So I had to get rid of that gremlin. Then I had to get rid of another gremlin of, I'm not good enough. Well, time after time again, these gremlins come up in my life. And I'm quite sure they're coming up in your life. Yeah, I can blame my mom. I can blame my sisters. I can blame my aunts, my uncles. I can blame society. I can blame my church. I can blame everybody in the world. But the only reflection that I see right now looking in this camera and looking in the mirror is Anthony Lane. Look in the mirror. I'm not trying to put any negativity on you, but the only change comes from when you change within yourself. And in hopes that my videos that I'm putting out will help you make some small adjustments for who you are and who you want to be in life. Going back to that story in Chicago. All of those clothes protected me for then. Those gremlins protected me then for doing what I needed to do. They're no longer serving me any good. But here's the trick. I'm 53 now. Don't know when you're going to watch this video. It could be now. It can be 50 years from now. I don't know when. And guess what? It doesn't matter when. But that happened to me when I was maybe 9, 10 years old. So you mean to tell me I can remove these gremlins? 40 years of gremlins in one day? No. No. Just like a person that is 400 pounds wants to get down to 170, they're not going to do it in 1 week. Have some grace for yourself. You can take it off. You can change yourself. You can change your limiting belief. You can change your self-sabotage. You can change your procrastination. Procrastination is one of my things. Is that something that I'm really working on? I went into a deep meditation and realized where that procrastination came from. And now I am changing that because I cannot know, in my rightful mind, I can no longer hold on to that belief on why I'm procrastinating, because that happened back in 1976. And it just grew. And I kept telling myself story after story after story to hold on to something that was no longer so serving me. And more than likely, you are doing the exact same thing. Do a self-evaluation of yourself. Do yourself a favor, not me. I was getting ready to say do me a favor, but do yourself a favor. What are you holding on to that is no longer serving you? Do you still have those baby shoes? Or even when you were a teenager, when you were a size 2 in shoe, do you still try to put those on as a full-grown adult? The exact same shoe. I know I have someone that's being a smart aleck and saying, yeah, I still wear a size 2, but are you wearing those shoes? Because the material in those shoes, regardless if they're Italian leather, Brazilian leather, or vegan leather, or cloth, or canvas, or whatever they are, they're falling apart. And your story that you are telling yourself, and the stories that I'm telling myself, is falling apart. I can no longer hold on to something that happened to me in 1975, 1976, 1977, or whatever. As a matter of fact, I can no longer hold on to the stories of stuff that happened to me back in 2020 during COVID. It happened. If I hold on to it, then it's a done deal. What gremlins are you still holding on to that is no longer serving you? Do a self-evaluation of yourself and who you are and who you really want to become and who you really want to be, for you to be a better person. This is all about you. I am just a facilitator to help you. As a matter of fact, to be completely transparent, this video is for me. It's helping me more than it's helping you. I'm just putting it out there. So maybe this one small thing that I'm saying is going to help you push past your barriers and who you are. I stayed away. Another transparent thing. I stayed away from church for the last maybe 5 or 6 years. because of some of the things that the preachers were saying, that my heart just didn't follow anymore. So I no longer follow organized religion. I follow God. And a friend of mine, said, "Hey, Anthony, come on to my church. If you don't like it, cool." I was like, eh. I went to the church and I loved it. It's everything that I've been learning about God, about me as a human being, and about life over the last few years. And from the Bible. And so many different aspects. I had that gremlin. I had that shadow, that veil over my eyes. And I'm forever thankful for it. So please, do a self-evaluation of yourself and who you are. And think about also who the person that you want to be. I want to be a millionaire. But guess what? The story goes as if you're a crappy, broke person, you will be a crappy, rich person. If you are a humble, broke person, you will be a humble, rich person. Yeah, you're going to change some things. More than likely, you're going to change your address. You're going to change the vehicle that you drive. You're going to change how you pay your bills. You're going to change the things that you eat. You're going to change where you go on vacation. But it's more important for you to stay connected to who you really are on the inside. Who you really are. And a lot of times we don't know who we really are. Go back and look at these gremlins that each and every person on earth, human being, has some type of gremlin. And it boils down to usually that I'm not good enough in this area of my life. Think about it. You are perfect. You are wonderful. You're made by God. You're on this earth for a reason. If you're trying to figure out what your life purpose is, start by doing a self-evaluation from the inside out. When the movies say, it was an inside job, it was an inside job, it was an inside job, it's an inside job. Go within yourself first before you start looking at this way and that way and upside and downside, and go within first to figure out who you are bit by bit. I'm Anthony Lane with Connected Lane, and I really do appreciate you. And if you need some assistance with this, please reach out to me and let me know what's going on. I look forward to hearing from you. God bless, and enjoy your day. Get rid of those gremlins, bit by bit. Not all at one time, bit by bit. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.